Explosions in Lebanon. A nation on edge. The country is in a state of heightened alert and anxiety. Lebanon, already grappling with political and economic turmoil, was recently rocked by a series of devastating explosions. These events have further destabilized an already fragile nation. These incidents, occurring in Beirut and other areas, have left the country reeling in fear and uncertainty. The streets of Beirut are filled with a palpable sense of dread as residents try to make sense of the chaos. The explosions, targeting devices linked to Hezbollah, have raised serious concerns about escalating conflict with Israel. The tension between these two entities has been a long-standing issue, and these recent events have only added fuel to the fire. The blasts have killed and injured dozens, deepening the wounds of a struggling nation. Families are mourning the loss of loved ones, and the injured are filling hospitals that are already stretched thin. The first explosions targeted pagers used by Hezbollah members. These devices, once a means of communication, have now become instruments of terror. These devices detonated in homes, cars, and even at a funeral procession, adding to the horror and unpredictability of the situation. The sanctity of personal spaces and solemn ceremonies has been violated. The randomness of the attacks and the lack of clarity regarding the perpetrators have heightened fear among the populace. People are living in constant fear, unsure of where the next explosion might occur. The Lebanese government has condemned the attacks and vowed to bring those responsible to justice. Officials are urging calm and promising swift action, but the public remains skeptical. The international community has also condemned the attacks and called for restraint from all sides. Global leaders are urging for a peaceful resolution and offering support to Lebanon during this critical time. The world watches closely, hoping for stability in a region fraught with tension. The human cost, casualties, and fear. The recent explosions in Lebanon have inflicted a heavy human cost. The blasts have resulted in numerous casualties, with the death toll continuing to rise. Hospitals, already overwhelmed by COVID-19, are struggling to cope with the influx of injured. The Lebanese Red Cross has issued urgent appeals for blood donations. The scenes at the hospitals are heartbreaking, with families desperately searching for missing loved ones. The psychological impact of these attacks is profound, with children traumatized and parents struggling to provide safety. The road to recovery will be long and arduous, requiring physical, medical, and psychological support. Israel's new phase, a declaration of intent. In the wake of the explosions, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant declared a new phase in the conflict with Hezbollah. Gallant's words suggest a shift in Israeli strategy, one that could have far-reaching consequences. The Israeli military has been placed on high alert, with reports of troop movements along the Lebanese border. This new phase emphasizes the need for courage, determination, and perseverance. The international community has expressed concern over Gallant's statement, urging all parties to exercise restraint. The declaration marks a dangerous escalation in the already volatile situation. The region is on edge, bracing for the possibility of further violence. Hezbollah's retaliation, a dangerous escalation. Hezbollah has retaliated against Israel following the explosions in Lebanon. The group launched rockets into Israeli territory, prompting a swift response from the Israeli Defense Forces. This exchange underscores the fragility of the situation and the potential for a wider conflict. Hezbollah claimed responsibility for the rocket attacks, framing them as a response to Israeli aggression. The Israeli Defense Forces targeted Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. The international community has called for an immediate ceasefire and urged dialogue to prevent further bloodshed. However, with both sides entrenched, the prospects for a peaceful resolution appear dim. International response calls for restraint and investigation. The international community has reacted with alarm to the recent escalation of violence. The scenes of destruction and the human toll have shocked people around the world, prompting immediate calls for action. World leaders and organizations have issued urgent calls for restraint and de-escalation. They emphasize the need for both sides to step back from the brink and engage in meaningful dialogue to prevent further bloodshed. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting, condemning the violence and urging dialogue. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has stressed the importance of protecting civilians and ensuring humanitarian aid reaches those in need. The United States has expressed concern, but reiterated its support for Israel's right to self-defense. However, it has also called for measures to avoid civilian casualties and urged both parties to return to the negotiating table. The European Union has called for an immediate ceasefire and a return to negotiations. EU officials have highlighted the need for a sustainable peace process that addresses the root causes of the conflict. The Arab League has also condemned the violence and called for an end to hostilities. They have urged the international community to take a more active role in mediating the conflict and ensuring a lasting peace. The international community is united in its concern over the escalating violence and its potential to destabilize the region. There is a growing consensus that immediate action is needed to prevent a humanitarian crisis and to pave the way for long-term stability and peace. The Taiwanese connection, unraveling the supply chain. Investigations into the explosions have revealed the involvement of a Taiwanese company in the supply chain. Gold Apollo, a Taiwanese electronics manufacturer, confirmed its brand on the targeted pagers. However, the company denied involvement in the production or use of the devices. The pagers were manufactured by a Hungarian company, BAC Consulting KFT, under a licensing agreement. Hungarian authorities have launched their investigation into BAC Consulting KFT. This highlights the global nature of the arms trade and the challenges of regulating sensitive technology. Life on the edge. The reality for Lebanese civilians. Every day, the people of Lebanon navigate a landscape fraught with uncertainty and danger. As tensions escalate, Lebanese civilians are bearing the brunt of the crisis. The constant threat of violence looms over their daily lives, making even the simplest tasks feel perilous. The explosions have shattered any semblance of normalcy, leaving many traumatized. The once vibrant streets are now filled with rubble and the echoes of past blasts. In Beirut, residents are grappling with the aftermath, with homes and businesses damaged or destroyed. The city's infrastructure is in ruins, and the path to recovery seems long and arduous. Basic services like electricity and water supply have been disrupted. Power outages are frequent, and access to clean water is becoming increasingly scarce. The psychological toll is immeasurable, with many experiencing anxiety and sleeplessness. The constant state of alertness is wearing down the mental health of the population. In southern Lebanon, residents live in constant fear of Israeli airstrikes. The sound of jets overhead is a daily reminder of the precariousness of their situation. The conflict has also taken a toll on the Lebanese economy, with the tourism industry decimated. Shops remain closed, and once bustling tourist sites are now eerily empty. The Lebanese people, known for their resilience, are facing an uphill battle. Communities are coming together to rebuild, but the road ahead is fraught with challenges. As the conflict continues, their hopes for a peaceful future seem increasingly distant. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there remains a glimmer of hope that one day, peace will prevail. The mourning process. Grief interrupted by violence. The recent explosions have left many grieving the loss of loved ones. Funerals, traditionally a time for communal grieving, have become fraught with anxiety. The constant threat of violence has forced many families to hold hurried and subdued funerals. The fear of further attacks is palpable, with mourners often looking over their shoulders. The psychological impact of this interrupted grief is profound, hindering the healing process. The ongoing violence serves as a constant reminder of the tragedy. The Lebanese people are now facing a new wave of grief, with old wounds ripped open. The search for answers. The ongoing investigation. Authorities are working tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to the blasts. The investigation is proving to be complex and challenging, hampered by the volatile security situation. Forensics teams are meticulously combing through the blast sites, collecting evidence. Investigators are examining intelligence reports and communication intercepts. The investigation has already yielded some preliminary findings, but authorities are cautious about releasing information. The involvement of foreign actors has further complicated the investigation. International cooperation will be crucial in uncovering the full truth and bringing those responsible to justice. The need for accountability. Justice for the victims. The call for accountability grows louder as the investigation continues. The victims, their families, and the Lebanese people deserve justice. The pursuit of justice must navigate the complexities of the region's geopolitics. The Lebanese government has pledged to bring the perpetrators to justice. The international community has a crucial role in supporting the investigation. Pressure must be maintained on all parties to cooperate fully with the investigation. The pursuit of justice is about upholding the rule of law and ensuring accountability for acts of terrorism.